All right, class, so today we are going to fill out our graphic organizer for the book that we just finished. Can someone tell me the title? Good, Charlotte's Web. Okay, so my class leader is going to be passing out the organizer. So go ahead and write your name on the top as we normally do. Put the date and the title of the book on the top of the graph. Okay, so whenever you're ready, we're gonna start at the top left corner, the who. And do you remember how we talked about the 5 W's? That's exactly what we're gonna be doing now. We're gonna be answering those W's, okay? So the first one's who. So who are we reading about? Who is this book about? I don't want the minor characters, I want the main characters. Who are we reading about? Good, Wilbur, that's one of them. Charlotte, good. Templeton, okay. All right, now who wrote the book? Where do we find that? What do we call the person that writes the book? Good, the author. So who's the author? Where do we find that? Right on the cover. E.B. White, good, good. All right, let's move over to the what. So what are they trying to do? What are they doing? Good, people are trying to eat Wilburs, so what are they gonna do? They're gonna try to fix that, right? Good. So where do you think this is? When we're trying to figure out where something is, what is that called? Right, the setting. So who can tell me where the setting is? Now there can be more than one answer for this. So, right, Zuckerman Farm's one. Burns Farm, good, it's another one. Okay, State Fair, good, good. Those are all the settings. So can a story have more than one setting? Right, it can. Sometimes it has one, but there can be multiple settings. When do we think this book was taking place? Good, good. Yeah, I would say I don't think it specifically states it, but I'd say probably around the 1940s, 50s. Yep, that's a long time ago. All right, so why are they trying to enter or get Wilbur to win the state fair? Yeah, they're trying to save Wilbur's life, because why? People trying to eat him, right? Good, good. So I added another little bubble at the end. We're gonna answer how they did it. I know that we said there are only 5 W's, but there's also a how that you can answer. So how do they save Wilbur's life? Who can recall? Good, good. So he meets Charlotte, right? She helps him. How does she help him though? Right, she makes the webs, right? It has special words on it, like terrific, good, some pig, yeah, that's right. And so because of that, they make the people see how special Wilbur is, right? Good, good. Okay, so graphic organizers can really be helpful for students because I think it's just the visualizing of the information. When you're reading a book that has a lot of characters or multiple settings or a really big plot, it can really help students learn how to process that information when they are reading the book. And I think it really helps map out as a teacher. It really helps me see like what their thinking process is, and it can also be used as a study tool for them. Like let's say I decide to have a test on this tomorrow, then they can use this to kind of refresh their memory. That way they don't, have to read the whole book over again because that would take too much time. So it's a great way for them to study and kind of refresh their memory of that. And also, I really feel like something fun like this can help engage the students and make them more interested in the book and just reading in general. Because I look at this, I'm like, oh, that's so fun. Like I can even color this, I can color code the W's, I can kind of make it my own. And that's another thing, like there's no like wrong way of doing a graphic organizer. Like you don't have to put complete sentences, like you can just list it or make like bullet points. I know I have complete sentences down there, but you don't really have to do that. Another thing about this is that there's different types of graphic organizers for narrative books, and this is just one of them that I found. And then you kind of have a standard one where it's a little bit more detailed. It requires you to think about some more things, but that's the great thing about a graphic organizer. It makes you think. It makes you recall the information. It makes you kind of interpret too, like with the theme and the outcome or the lesson. It really makes you think about what you just read. And then there's also this type where you can kind of think about the characters as a separate, little extension of the book. Like say, we're doing Charlotte, you can really do a whole character analysis about this. And there's different types of these that I found. Like this is more of a simpler one, but you can kind of go to a little more depth where it asks you, well, how did this character change? Like how did this character seem in the beginning of the story compared to the end? So it's kind of setting them up for those big concepts of, comparing, contrasting characters, how they've changed, just character analysis, but in a chart form. That's fun. This one's more of a simpler one. So if you're doing lower grades, then they could do something like this. They can draw. It doesn't require too much for them. So I'd say this is more like 2nd, 3rd grade. Whereas this one might be like 4th or 5th. And then another thing that's kind of similar to like a standard graphic organizer for narratives is that you can do a story map. And the textbook has a great one that you can use. But I found this one and I thought it was really fun. And I think this would be really engaging for students. But the title kind of says it, but it maps out the story for you. So I think this is fun. I think you can color it too, make it your own. And then the last one that the textbook mentions is kind of, I think they call it like Mr. Plot or like something like that. But for this one, they call it a mountain. But I always was taught like it's a roller coaster. But, I know it doesn't say like the actual real names or titles for it. Like this would be the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. But this is just another great way for them to, for one, practice the parts of the story or a plot, and then kind of map out the events of the story and help them see the complete circle of the story and how it all kind of comes together. But I think graphic organizers are just a great way for students to kind of collect their thoughts and organize their thoughts in a fun way.